What if humanity's greatest achievement isn't conquering Earth, but abandoning it entirely to survive among the stars where no human has ever called home? The clock is ticking, and space might be our only way out of extinction, disaster, and the fragility that comes from living on one vulnerable planet. Right now, while you're watching this, scientists and engineers are drafting blueprints for cities on Mars, orbital habitats circling Earth, and generation ships sailing between stars for centuries. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's becoming our species' backup plan, our insurance policy against extinction, and maybe our destiny written in the cosmic dust of possibility. Hit that like if you're ready to explore humanity's wildest frontier, because what you're about to hear will flip everything you thought you knew about our future. Here's the raw truth: Earth won't last forever, and neither will we if we stay put on this single fragile rock spinning through the void. Natural disasters, climate shifts, asteroid impacts, pandemics. History screams that putting all our eggs in one planetary basket is cosmic gambling with impossibly high stakes for our species. Scientists estimate that a civilization-ending asteroid strike happens roughly every 60 to 100 million years, and we're overdue by some calculations that should terrify us. Solar flares could fry our electrical grids overnight, plunging billions into chaos where food spoils, hospitals go dark, and society unravels within weeks of losing power. Supervolcanoes lurk beneath peaceful landscapes, ready to choke our atmosphere with ash that would make growing food impossible. For years, while temperatures plummet into nuclear winter conditions, the universe doesn't care about our survival. It's indifferent, cold, and occasionally catastrophically violent toward anything living on a single world without backup plans or escape routes. But beyond survival, there's something deeper pulling us upward. We're explorers hardwired to wonder what's over the next horizon, driven by curiosity that's defined human progress. For millennia, humans pushed into uncharted territories across oceans, over mountains, through deserts, driven by curiosity and the hunger for new beginnings that transcends mere survival instinct. Space is the ultimate frontier, the grandest challenge our species has ever faced, where rewards aren't just resources or territory, but transformation into something interplanetary and immortal. The question isn't whether we should colonize space, but whether we can pull it off before time runs out, or we lose the vision propelling us beyond. So where do we actually stand on making this dream real? And are we closer than most people realize to establishing our first permanent settlements beyond Earth? Closer than you'd believe. And the progress is accelerating like a rocket hitting escape velocity, with momentum that's building across governments, companies, and visionary entrepreneurs worldwide. NASA's Artemis program is gearing up to plant boots back on the moon within the next few years, establishing a permanent lunar base called Artemis Base Camp. This isn't a quick visit, it's infrastructure, habitats, power systems, and mining operations designed to extract water ice from shadowed craters where sunlight never reaches the surface. They'll split that ice into hydrogen for rocket fuel and oxygen for breathing, turning the moon into a gas station and life support hub for deeper exploration. The moon becomes our launch pad, our testing ground, our proof of concept that humans can survive and thrive beyond Earth's protective embrace in hostile alien environments. Mars is the big prize, the shining goal that captures imaginations worldwide, because it's the most Earth-like planet we've got within reasonable reach of current technology. SpaceX is building Starship, a fully reusable super heavy rocket designed to carry 100 people per trip to the Red Planet, with enough cargo for settlement. Elon Musk projects the first crewed missions could launch within this decade if development stays on track. Though timelines in space exploration tend to slip rightward constantly, the plan involves sending cargo ships first to stockpile supplies, habitats, solar panels, and equipment, then following with colonists ready to build pressurized domes and permanent infrastructure. Mars has subsurface water ice, a thin atmosphere we could theoretically thicken over centuries through terraforming, and gravity roughly 1/3 of Earth's, challenging but manageable. Colonists would grow food in Martian soil enriched with nutrients, establish self-sustaining communities, and gradually expand their footprint across the rust-colored plains and ancient valleys. The technical hurdles are brutal though, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest about the life-threatening challenges facing anyone who signs up for interplanetary colonization missions. Radiation is enemy number one. Without Earth's magnetic field and thick atmosphere, Cosmic rays and solar particles bombard everything on Mars or the Moon relentlessly. This increases cancer risks dramatically and damages electronics over time, meaning every habitat needs serious shielding and every colonist accepts elevated health risks for the mission. Engineers are designing habitats buried underground or covered with regolith, loose rocky material on surfaces to shield colonists from radiation while maintaining livable pressures inside. Researchers explore pharmaceutical interventions that could boost cellular repair mechanisms, essentially giving colonists superhuman healing factors to counteract radiation damage at the molecular level inside their bodies. Then there's the psychological toll of isolation, confinement, and the knowledge that Earth is a tiny blue dot millions of miles away with no rescue. Studies from Antarctic research stations and submarine crews show that carefully selected, highly trained teams can handle extreme isolation for months without psychological breakdowns or mission failures. But scaling that to permanent colonies with families and children introduces unknowns we're only beginning to map through simulations and analog missions in harsh Earth environments. Drop in the comments. Would you actually volunteer to be among the first colonists on Mars, knowing you might never see Earth again in person? The life support challenge is equally daunting because every breath of oxygen, every drop of water, every calorie of food must be produced locally or rationed mercilessly. Closed-loop systems recycle everything: water from sweat and urine, oxygen from plants through photosynthesis, nutrients from composted waste, but achieving perfect efficiency remains frustratingly elusive in testing. One system failure, one contamination event, one unexpected breakdown could spell disaster for a colony that's months away from any possible resupply mission from Earth. That's why redundancy is critical. Multiple life support systems, stockpiled supplies, and the ability to manufacture replacement parts locally using 3D printers and Martian raw materials. Beyond Mars and the Moon, visionaries are dreaming bigger, orbital habitats like the O'Neill cylinder concepts that could house millions in rotating space stations, generating artificial gravity. Picture massive cylindrical structures miles long, spinning to create Earth-like gravity on their inner surfaces where entire cities, farms, and forests could flourish in climate-controlled artificial ecosystems. These habitats would orbit Earth or hover at stable Lagrange points, harvesting resources from asteroids and using solar power that's constant and abundant without atmospheric interference. The beauty of orbital colonies is flexibility. You're not locked to one planet's resources or climate, and you can position yourself optimally for trade, defense, or expansion. Asteroid mining is the economic engine that could make all this financially viable instead of just a massive money pit draining national budgets without tangible returns. A single metallic asteroid contains more platinum, gold, and rare earth elements than humanity has mined in all of recorded history, combined on Earth. Companies are already developing prospecting missions to identify resource-rich asteroids, and the first mining operations could launch within the next decade if investments continue accelerating as projected. Imagine redirecting a small asteroid into lunar orbit, then systematically extracting its metals to build habitats, ships, and infrastructure without launching mass from Earth's deep gravity well. The economics flip entirely. Instead of space exploration being a cost, it becomes wildly profitable as we tap resources worth quadrillions of dollars floating freely in space. Now, let's talk about the really wild stuff: the generation ships and interstellar colonization that push the boundaries of what humanity could become over centuries of expansion. If we're serious about becoming a multi-star system species, we need ships that can travel for decades or centuries, carrying entire communities to exoplanets orbiting distant suns. These vessels would be self-contained worlds, rotating for gravity, growing food in vast hydroponic farms, and sustaining populations through multiple generations born and dying in transit. The technological challenges are staggering. Propulsion systems that can achieve fractions of light speed, shielding against interstellar radiation and micrometeoroids, and perfect life support for centuries without resupply. But breakthroughs in fusion power, antimatter propulsion, or even light sails pushed by powerful lasers could make interstellar travel feasible within the next century or two. The Breakthrough Starshot initiative is already testing concepts for tiny probe ships accelerated to 20% light speed using ground-based laser arrays, focused on reflective sails. Scale that up, Combine it with advances in suspended animation or cryogenic preservation, and suddenly the nearby star systems become reachable within a single extended human lifetime. Skeptics say that technology isn't ready. The costs are astronomical, and we should fix Earth's problems before fleeing to space like irresponsible tenants abandoning a trashed apartment. But here's the counterpoint that flips that argument on its head. Space colonization and Earth stewardship aren't mutually exclusive. They're complementary strategies for ensuring humanity's long-term survival. Technologies developed for space closed-loop, life support, renewable energy, efficient resource recycling directly benefit Earth by teaching us to live sustainably within strict environmental limits and budgets. The inspiration and unity that comes from humanity working toward a shared cosmic goal could actually help solve terrestrial conflicts by giving us a common purpose. Picture this future scenario. It's 2075, and a young girl wakes up in a habitat on Mars, looking out through reinforced windows at the salmon-pink sky. She's never been to Earth, but she's seen the videos, the blue oceans, green forests, clouds drifting across continents, teeming with billions of people and wildlife. To her, Mars is home. The red dust outside is normal, and the stories her grandparents tell about leaving Earth sound like ancient mythology from a distant realm. She attends school in a pressurized dome alongside kids from dozens of Earth nations, united by their identity as Martians first, working together to expand the colony. The colony thrives because breakthrough fusion reactors provide unlimited clean power, while genetically modified crops grow in Martian greenhouses, producing yields that support thousands of residents comfortably. Scientists discover microbial life in subsurface ice caves, revolutionizing biology and proving that life emerges wherever liquid water and energy sources exist in the universe simultaneously. This discovery electrifies humanity, validating the search for life beyond Earth and spurring even greater investment in exploration missions to Europa, Enceladus, and Titan's hydrocarbon seas. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, cylindrical habitats house millions who've chosen space life over planetary surfaces, forming cultures utterly unique to their zero-gravity or rotating environments. They develop new art forms, sports, and social structures impossible on planets, becoming humanity's first true space-adapted civilization with perspectives that challenge Earth-bound thinking and assumptions. Some visionaries propose uploading human consciousness into synthetic bodies or digital substrates, allowing exploration without the messy constraints of biological life support and fragile organic bodies. Whether that's humanity's future or a dystopian nightmare depends on your perspective. But it's a path some futurists genuinely believe will unlock immortality and infinite cosmic expansion. Tag a friend who needs their mind blown by the realization that children alive today might retire on Mars or vacation on orbital resorts overlooking Earth's continents. The geopolitical implications are massive too. Whoever controls space resources and territory gains unimaginable strategic and economic advantages over nations stuck in Earth's gravity well. China, the United States, India, and private companies are racing to establish claims and capabilities, creating a new space race that's less about flags and more about futures. International treaties currently ban national sovereignty claims on celestial bodies, but those agreements might crumble when trillions in asteroid wealth or prime Mars real estate hangs in balance. We're potentially heading toward a Wild West scenario in space, where first movers establish de facto control, and disputes over territory or resources could escalate into conflicts. Managing that requires unprecedented international cooperation, updated legal frameworks, and a shared vision of space as humanity's common heritage rather than another arena for destructive competition. The ethical questions keep multiplying. Do Mars colonists owe allegiance to Earth nations, or do they form independent governments, representing a new branch of human civilization entirely? If we discover microbial life on Mars, do we have the right to terraform and potentially destroy those ecosystems for our benefit? Or must we preserve them? What happens when space colonies diverge culturally, politically, and eventually, perhaps even biologically, from Earth humans through generations of adaptation to different gravity and radiation environments? These aren't abstract philosophy, they're practical challenges we'll face within decades as permanent settlements transition from outposts to self-determining communities with their own interests and identities. But here's what fills me with hope rather than dread. Humanity has always been at its best when facing impossible challenges that demand our creativity and cooperation. The International Space Station proved that even rival nations can work together. In space, when the mission's greater than any single country's agenda or political differences, that spirit of collaboration, scaled up to moon bases and Mars colonies, could represent humanity's finest hour, the moment we truly united as one species pursuing destiny. We stand at a pivotal crossroads in history, where the decisions we make now determine whether humanity remains a single-planet species vulnerable to extinction or becomes interplanetary. The technology exists or is emerging rapidly. The economic case strengthens yearly as launch costs plummet and space resources become accessible. The vision inspires millions globally daily. What's needed now is sustained commitments, funding, education, international agreements, and the collective will to invest in a future beyond the immediate quarterly earnings or election cycles. This isn't just about survival insurance or economic opportunity. It's about fulfilling the potential of consciousness itself to spread, explore, and flourish throughout the cosmos indefinitely. Every civilization reaches this threshold where they either expand beyond their homeworld or stagnate and eventually face extinction from disasters they couldn't predict or prevent in time. We're the first generation in human history with the actual capability to make this leap, to become the ancestors that future space-dwelling humans remember as the pioneers. Smash that subscribe button for more dives into humanity's impossible futures. Drop your wildest theory about space colonization in the comments below, and share this with your adventure squad, because the universe is vast, mysterious, and waiting for us to claim our place among the stars, and who knows what incredible discoveries you'll witness. Next, para intentar claro puede cometer errores. Verifique las respuestas.